All right, Nina, you should be able to hop in there.
All right, I can hear you. If you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Is that working or not? I hit that accept, so you should be able to get in there, Nina.
Okay. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Is that working or not? I hit that accept, so you should be able to get in there, Nina.
I should be. I don't know. I don't know. Oops. I'm here. Can you hear me at all? Can you hear me at all?
What's going on? I got you on YouTube, but I don't have you on Instagram yet still.
Oh.
I got you on YouTube, but I don't have you on Instagram yet still.
All right, I hit the.
If you're on YouTube, just hang on for just a second. We're trying to get this going on Instagram as well. So we'll be rolling here in just a second. If you've got any questions and you're on YouTube, go ahead and drop them in that chat, and we will get to them in just a second. Until then,
go ahead and drop them in that chat,
just a second, and we will get everything rolling here.
Until then, give us just a second, and we will get everything rolling here.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. All right.
There we go. All right, one of these has to go lower. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Oh. My mother-in-law is on here right now.
Awesome. All right, they can hear us on YouTube. I just got Jeff telling us that he can hear us on YouTube, so we are good on YouTube.
Nice. Hi, Nicole.
Cool.
Hi, Carmen. Hi, Lauren. Hey, Hector.
And you can hear me fine on Instagram. You can hear me through your headphones good?
I can hear you, yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right, cool.
All right.
You want to go ahead and start out and just introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Nina. I'm 38. And I have epilepsy, so yeah. And I don't really talk about it a lot, so this is a big deal for me. So that's my story. Oh, and I live in Massachusetts, Boston, close to Boston.
All right, if you guys know me, some of you guys follow me, some of you guys may not because you may be coming in from Nina's page. My name is Joe. I live in Colorado, and I have had epilepsy since 7th grade. So it has been a long road, but I am working now to just kind of help educate people, help to just show people kind of the ins and outs of epilepsy and just kind of what goes on with that, the difficulties that go on with that, but also the fact that that doesn't have to run your life. You don't have to just quit and give up, say, I have seizures, I have to give up. You can move past that and go on. So that's just a little bit about me. Nina and I actually connected on YouTube. Was it like 14 years ago or something?
Yeah, really long time.
Back when you could still do DMs on YouTube. So it's been a while. And then she just hit me up recently, and we kind of like reconnected. So that's been kind of cool. But so this is the first of what is hopefully going to be a quite a few lives that we do together, and we'll hopefully try and keep those like on topics. So if you are just jumping in here, If you guys have epilepsy, go ahead and drop a one in the comments. If you don't, um, and you just want to know more, go ahead and drop a two. Um, and if you know someone, another thing too, if you know someone that has epilepsy besides Nina or I, if you know someone, drop an A in the comments. And if you don't know anybody else, put a B. So a one if you have epilepsy, a two if you don't and you just want to know more, and then an A if you know someone besides Nina or I, and then a B if you don't know anybody else. So, what we're gonna do today is just kind of run through a list of um, common questions about epilepsy and stuff, and just kind of talk through that. Before we get through common questions, I want to address something that happened very recently, and I want to ask Nina, when was your last seizure that you had?
Uh, like 2 or 3 days ago. Yeah. And then before that, it was like a while. Um, yeah, right now they're in like switching my medication, and that whole process can be a little bit annoying. Um, Not a little bit annoying, very annoying. Um, but I guess that's kind of how this condition works. Like you can be fine for a little while and then bang. Yeah. So, but I'm okay, everyone.
When you had that seizure the other day, how did that kind of affect you or whatever?
Um, I uh, I can't speak for everyone, but I get extremely emotional and I feel like a burden and um yeah, I just feel really down, and the physical part is it's really, really painful. Like my abs still hurt and my arm muscles still hurt. So yeah, it takes a little bit. And I see that someone, should I answer that question or no?
Go ahead. See it.
So I see what type of seizures do I have. Well, I have like temporal lobe epilepsy, and so I have, oh my goodness, my fiance is way better at this than I am because I like, yeah, but I have grandma and I have uh, focal, so they just are really quick and then they go away. Um, and I have like these myoclonic jerks, which is strange. Like my arms will just fling out and it just happens, but I'm super aware of it, and nothing happens after that, so, yeah. Is everyone hearing us okay? Yeah?
Yeah, there was just some kind of like, um, there was feedback onto YouTube because my something's messed up with mine, so, but it's okay. We'll be all right. Okay. Um, is that the only kind of seizures you've ever had?
Yes. Yes, pretty much those 3, they think that when I was younger, I was having, like, these things called absent seizures, so, um, like, when I was in elementary school, I actually they put me in special ed because they thought, like, I had ADHD and, like, and in reality, that really wasn't what was going on. And then, middle school, it got better, and then in high school, it was okay. I didn't notice much. Um, but I had an ex-boyfriend tell me, "Yeah, you used to completely space out all the time. I just thought I wasn't interesting." So, he's like, "I thought you were just bored with my conversation." But, yeah, so but I didn't
I
have my
had
first big one till I was 19, 20, around there.
I had one absence seizure only ever. Other than that, I have had all tonic clonic seizures ever since then. I started out small and then I was like, ah, screw that, I'm gonna go big. And ever since then I just like went big with it. Um and been all tonic clonic seizures since then. Um and yeah, it's just been they were really bad for a while and then they've now gotten to the point where they're fairly well controlled. Um I haven't had the last one that I had was 2 years ago. That one was pretty intense, but um yeah, I was up on I kind of got a little bit lazy with what I was doing in life. Not lazy, but I just got lax in how I was I guess doing things, and so I was up on a roof and I probably shouldn't have been. Um and I had a seizure and I fell off the roof and I fell 2 stories and landed on my jaw and I broke everything in my face. So yeah, every single bone in my face was broken. Um, and so it took 13 surgeries to rebuild my face. Um, and uh, yeah, I was in the hospital for a month after that. Uh, And it took quite a while. Uh, Even after that, even after I was out of the hospital, I was still went back in for several surgeries after that to get that all fixed up and everything. But yeah, 2 years now. So, um, how old were you when your seizures started? I was in seventh grade, um, and uh, that was a really hard time for me, because kids are mean, kids are punks, um, and so I had them all through seventh grade, all through high school, um, and so like through all those like growing up years, um, is when my seizures were the worst. Uh, all of the years when you are like developing a lot of friendships and stuff, that's when my seizures were the worst. And I'm not sure when. So, how old were you when yours started?
When I had my first big one, that it was, like, very noticeable, um, I'm pretty sure it was, like, 20 I was between 20 and 21. In the beginning, I thought I was just fainting, like, I literally thought so I just thought I needed to I don't know. I went to the hospital, they were like, "Yeah, you probably just fainted," gave me IV, and I went about my life, and then, like, 2 weeks later, I had another one in bed, and it was traumatic, and, yeah, then after that, I saw a neurologist, and I got on meds, and even then it was a little bit took some time to get, acclimated with it all. Um, but it was kind of, like, hard because all my friends were, like, starting to drink and, um, yeah, so I had people think I wasn't, like, wanting to hang out with them, and they thought, like, my boyfriend at the time was, like, super, like, controlling, and no, not the thing, like, neurologist said sleep and no alcohol, so I was trying to obey, um, as much as possible, but most of my seizures, happen when I'm sleeping. So, like, 99.9% of the time, I'm sleeping, so I don't know when they're coming. The only time I know is if I'm awake and I can feel them. And I guess, I don't know, it's hard because some people would say, "Oh, which one's worse? Knowing that it's gonna happen or not knowing?" Um, I think it's a little bit of anxiety moment. Like, real quick, you're like, "Oh my god, like, what's gonna happen?" Like, so it's just, um yeah, sorry, I'm rambling now.
No, you're fine. Um, sorry, not Maria, Marie. Um, you said how long ago was that? Sorry, how long ago was what? I didn't, I didn't get what you were asking about. Um, and then, um, this question actually came in uh, on my Instagram the other day from Marie. Oh, my accident when I fell off the roof. That was 2 years ago. It was December 16th, 2021. So just barely over 2 years. So yeah, I'm actually just in December of this year, I was fully released um, from that. So yeah, it was a 2 year process of having everything done. Uh, I had 13 like facial reconstruction surgeries, and then a ton of dental work done. I had 11 implants done. I think it was 5 or 6 root canals with crowns, and then 2 other crowns and stuff like that. I mean, just basically they would just rebuild my full mouth. Um, and then I still have a lot of metal plates and stuff. If you look on the sides of my face right here, you can see like this side of my face is like dented in because this bone right here is actually broken or was I mean what it was broken, but it's plated now. Um, and if you feel it, you can actually feel the screw head right here. Um, so it's pretty crazy. But anyways, Marie asked a question on my Instagram the other day. Said, "What's the hardest thing about having epilepsy?"
Mm.
That's a pretty crazy question because there's a lot. And Nina and I were actually talking about this the other day. Um, and I don't know, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, all right. So we were talking about this the other day, and we were like, that it, you could ask that question, and it changes as you go. Um, because um, when I was in high school, when I was younger, the hardest thing about having epilepsy, about having seizures, is the fact that I couldn't drive. I couldn't do the things that the other kids were doing. Um, I wasn't normal. Um, and so, if you ask me then, that was the biggest thing for me. Um, you ask me later on, and the hardest thing for me, like before I was married, the hardest thing for me is, well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna be looked at weird. Um, I don't know if someone's gonna want to be with someone who has seizures because they're gonna look at me as like a project person. I don't want that. Um, the uh, and then like once I was married and I had kids, then it was like, well, now I don't know. Are my kids gonna have seizures? Are my kids gonna have epilepsy? I don't know. They still don't know. Like they are kind of like thinking maybe it's hereditary, maybe it's not. There's so many questions surrounding that, but it's it's like a fear that lives in your head though. Of if I have it, then my kids are gonna have it. Um, and so just living with that all the time, and then um, and then too, you have. I mean, and I talked about this the other day of just well, I'm a burden of I could have a seizure whenever, and I'm uh what like the the people that I love then have to take care of me. What if I um what if I have a seizure in front of my kids? Like, then they have to watch it. And I have. My kids have seen me have a seizure. Like, and that's heartbreaking to me. Like, I've held two of my daughters now while they've had seizures, but for my kids to see me have a seizure, like, that's heartbreaking to me. Like, they had to watch that. Um, and that lives in their tiny heads. Um, so that is a loaded question. Of and well, now I live by myself. Um, and I have had um I have had like cluster seizures to the point where I've had 11 in a day, I've had 13 in a day. And at that point, the only thing that stops it is like medical intervention. However, I'm not awake for long enough in between to get that medical help. Um, so living by myself, it's it's dangerous, honestly. Because if I start going into seizures, like having a cluster seizure like that, which I haven't had in I don't know since I was 19 or so, so longer than I want to admit. Um, but it's been almost 20 years now, which makes me seem really old, I guess. But makes me feel old anyways. I don't know. Um, but the if I start having like a cluster of seizures, like all in a row like that, like that's it's dangerous because you could go into a whole bunch of seizures and then honestly you could just die. Um, because it just does so much damage to your brain. So the hardest thing about having epilepsy, ask me tomorrow and my answer will be different. So that's a
Absolutely.
really long answer to a short question, I know, but
Yeah. Oh man, I think mm, for me, it's definitely at this moment of my life, it's the feeling of being that burden. I think, because I'm older now, I'm 38. Um, it's not really easy to, um, what's the best way to say it? I don't know. It's not easy for me to accept help from people. That's not even episode related. It's very hard for me to like, I don't know, stay still in one place. Like I am just, that's the hardest part for me, I think, is like being a burden. And then not only that, people maybe treating me different because of that. Like I might not get invited to a party because I don't know, they maybe think I can't drink or I don't drink, which I do drink, but it's really seldom. Um, as far as having a seizure in front of I have a daughter, she's 13, and I've had seizures in front of her plenty of times. She knows what to do. She's known what to do since she was like 3. She's actually, I'm pretty sure called 911 once. And then I used to have the little button, the "Oops, I fallen, I can't get up" button. So she just pushed it. One time she pushed it and she wasn't supposed to, she just wanted to see what would happen. And, but yeah, that's really difficult. Bella has actually has had like 4 EEGs in her life, and all of them were negative. So I'm really happy about that. But they did say that if she was gonna have them, she would have them at the time that I started having them. So me or her dad. So um, I'm sure tomorrow also my answer will be different. But today, as the last few days, I feel today more thankful and lucky to have my fiance there for me. I don't really know what would have happened or could have happened if he wasn't there. So I feel very, very lucky. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask you. So, do you have any medical implants?
Nope, I do not. Um, I finally caved and did ask my neurologist if I was a candidate for something called the VNS. It's called a vagus nerve stimulator, and it goes kind of like right here, and they I feel like they just tie it to your vagus nerve. And something about that vagus nerve, when you take a magnet and you swipe it, it's supposed to slow the seizure down or stop it. Um, I did ask if I was a candidate, and they said yes, I was. So I'm really kind of, I think that's my next step at this point because I feel medicine is it's too flip floppy, I guess is the right way to say it. So yeah, is anybody still on here? I think you're frozen. Oh, perfect. I
Sorry,
gotcha.
sorry, I was
No.
trying to get my headphones connected to try and get rid of the echo and stuff. So,
Mm,
um, so Nina, Nina is looking at getting the VNS. I have the VNS, and I actually wore this so I could show it. So I have the VNS, and it sits right here in my chest, and it comes. You can see this right here is the wire for it, and you can't see the scar where it's connected anymore because it's hidden by my beard. But it comes up here, and then it actually like wraps around my vagus nerve. Um, and so mine does not work anymore. Mine is dead. It just sits there and it looks pretty, or not. It's a conversation piece at this point. But it was installed back in like 2004, I think. And mine would go off every minute for 30 seconds. It would send an electrical impulse to my brain to to create new pathways in my brain. Um, so basically, it's like sending a shock wave through my brain. And I see the epileptic chef. Ugh, my mouth is not working. Is asking how does it work? So yeah, it would send an electrical impulse to my brain to create new pathways in my brain, and try that way to help slow and help to stop the seizures. When I had a seizure, I carried a little tiny magnet with me. Um, and someone would grab that magnet and they would put it on there. When you put it on there, it turns it off. When you take the magnet back off, it comes back on at like twice the strength for twice as long, to help and stop the seizure and help to shorten the length of the seizure as well. So I had mine in there for, I mean, it's still in there, but mine worked for a while. And, uh, and then by the time the battery died on mine, um, the combination of the VNS working and also the medication that I was on, um, my seizures were fairly well controlled at that point. So I did not get it replaced at that point. I asked the doctors about having it removed, and they said that because it is like when they install it, it would be like wrapped around my vagus nerve. They said the tissue would have like grown into the wires, and it would be a very dangerous procedure to remove it. And so, unless it was causing issues, they wouldn't take it out. They would just leave it there. So it's just gonna sit there, and it's just gonna hang out. And like I said, it makes for a cool conversation piece. So, and
I actually
really.
have a question.
Yeah.
So when you put the magnet on, does it stick there? Stay on there? Like,
No,
can
no,
it
no,
stick there?
no. It's titanium. The piece is titanium, so it is not magnetic. It doesn't
Okay.
show up on like any kind of things. Like if you go through a metal detector, it won't show up, and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm a singer, and so that is my biggest fear is losing my voice. So I was like, all right, well, what I'll do is if you put it there and it shuts off, I'll just tape it. Like I'll just tape the magnet on there so it can shut off. I don't know. I'm just that's what my my process in my brain goes. But um,
Uh,
yeah,
so Carmen is asking, so it's not dangerous to put on your body, but it's dangerous to take out. So it's not dangerous to put it into my body because then they put it in, they wrap it like so that it's like so think about it like a chain that you put on a tree. If you have a chain on a tree for a long time, the tree grows around it. Um, so they put that they put it on there. They wrap it around my vagus nerve, but then the tissue um, grows back and grows around it all. So to get that out, um, they would have to cut all that tissue away from around it just to unwrap it from around my vagus nerve. And same with the box here too, that they would have to, and then all the wires that are running up here. I mean, it's just it's one cable, but still they would have to. Um, it basically grows into your body. They would have to cut everything away that has grown into it. It's basically become a part of your body. So, is it safe around microwaves? I have not asked that question, but I use microwaves and it has never affected me at all. Titanium is a very non-reactive metal.
no.
It's not magnetic. It's not it doesn't show up on a lot of things. So I would assume that it is very safe around microwaves. Anybody else have a question about the VNS? I'm very fine and open with questions. So any questions that you guys want to ask about the VNS, anything else you want to ask is fine. Or if you think of a question later, or if you think of a question about something we already talked about, go for it. I will answer any question. I am totally fine with that. The side effects. Yes, definitely. It does have side effects. So when mine was working, at this point, there's no side effects. It doesn't work anymore, so it just sits there. Except for I do annoy people. If I don't have a shirt on, I'll sit there and I'll tap on it like a drum. So that's a side effect that I annoy people with it. But that's not a side effect. That's just me annoying people. Um, so, like real side effects, um, the it affects your breathing some. It's so close to like your vocal cords and stuff right here. It affected like my breathing and stuff some. So um when I would be when I had it when it was working and stuff like that, it was it made it harder for me to do like aerobic activities. Where I would lose my breath faster. Um, I couldn't keep my breath for as long because of it like going off and making me lose my breath faster. It also I noticed a slight change in my voice when it was going off as well. And Nina and I have talked about that because she sings, and so she had a concern about that. So I told her, I said, you can put the magnet on there while you're singing, it'll shut it off, and then you can go back afterwards and just take the magnet off. So for that little short time, you would be fine and it would just be shut off. Obviously, I'm not giving that as medical advice. Check with your doctor beforehand before you do anything like that. Um, but um, that is something that would be possible as long as your doctor is okay with that. The epileptic chef. Is this something that you are considering getting? Is it has your doctor um, Like, has he said that, or your doc, he, she, whatever, has your doctor said that it's a possibility for you to have this? Or is it something that is you're just considering getting? Hey, there's a question for you, Nina.
Yeah.
Does singing calm you in any way? Have you had a seizure while singing? We talked about this
Nope.
last night.
I will say when I'm on stage, I don't know what it is. I just never had a seizure on stage ever, ever, ever. Something about singing, I guess. I don't know. I've just never, and like it's crazy because I've had big roles that were very, very taxing and stressful and very like we gotta. It's like not once have I ever been stressed and had a seizure. No, never. So, um, it's actually the one other place besides home that I feel most comfortable. I'm a I feel like when I'm on stage, I'm invincible. Like I feel like I can do anything. It's just crazy. It's a weird rush, guys.
Jeff is watching over on YouTube, and he said the VNS may be a help for at least some people, and that is true. It is not.
Mhm.
It is not for everybody. So that's something that you'll have to talk with your doctor about, and see um, if it is a help for you. They do have now the RNS as well, and that's a whole different thing. That is, I'm not going to get into that, but it's um, a whole different medical implant. But another thing uh, that helps with like your brain activity and stuff. But yeah. Yes, Lindsay, she should sing. And if you watch her videos, she sings amazing.
Oh, I think I see something about strobe lights. Should we mention that now?
Lighting from the
Um,
halogen lights.
yes.
Uh,
Uh, mm,
okay. So some people are affected by lights. I am not. Um, I do not have any what's called photosensitivity. Um, the they've done testing. I've had a lot of different testing done to try and figure out what causes um, my seizures because they want to try and figure out what the triggers are um, so that I can stay away from that. Um, they've done, I mean, I sat in a hospital bed with all the leads connected to my head. And they literally they bring a strobe light and put it in front of your face and it's sitting there like blinking like crazy. Um, and then they do all different kinds of like different patterns and all kinds of stuff to try and figure out like they're trying to induce a seizure at that point. Um, but strobe lights don't affect me at all. Lack of sleep doesn't affect me at all. Alcohol doesn't affect me at all. None of the normal triggers that people would think of affect me. I have found one thing that does affect me, and that's artificial sweeteners, which I have talked about in some of my videos. Um, and yeah, it's just, I mean, as long as you can figure out what it is that's causing them for you and stay away from that, if possible, obviously, then that's ideal. If you can't, and uh, that's what you have to live with. I mean, there's some things that are just it's what it is. You have to. I mean, you have to do certain things, but you just be as careful as you can. I don't know if you want to talk about your triggers and stuff, Nina.
I don't, I'm not triggered by strobe lights either. Um, if I'm, like, at a club, I might get a headache later on, but that's I don't even know if that's from that or just from being out late at night. I don't think that I have any. I think for me, my triggers are, if I have a cold, like, if I'm sick, forget about it. That lowers my threshold, for sure. Um, Believe it or not, and this is something that I don't think you have to deal with when I get my period, believe it or not,
No, I don't.
that
No.
yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, believe it or not,
Other people, I have to deal with other people when they do, but not me.
yeah, when I was younger, yeah, in my 20s, I would notice when I would get my period around that time, and then I got on birth control, and they did slow down. So, I mean, something about that, I don't hormones can do a lot of things to you. Um,
Yeah.
Lack of sleep is a trigger for me. Um, Stress, um, I've learned to manage that a lot more. Um, and I did see someone say heat. For me, heat can be a trigger. It's not always a trigger, but it can be, you know. I was at I was at Busch Gardens, and it was we're just crazy going in August. Who goes to Florida in August? Me. Um, and I don't know if you know, but like Busch Gardens has no shade. No shade at all. So I'm walking and I'm like, "Oh no, like, oh no." And we quickly and thank goodness there was like a first aid place, like there's like a few of them around, and I just had to, I don't know, lay down. And that is kind of the last thing I remember. And then when I woke up, I thought I was back at the hotel because the hospital, Tampa, Florida, is really nice. Like it had palm trees. Like I was like, "Are we back at the hotel? Like, what is going on?" And then my friend said, "No, we're in the hospital." I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, "Okay, so we're gonna go back, right? Because I have to go on cheetah run or whatever." I just wanted to go. Like he was like, "No, we're not going back." No. So yes, that's just a I don't know why I thought about that now, but it was a pretty funny I mean, at that point, it was not funny, but right now
Right.
it was it was pretty funny. So, I think that's about it for me. Actually, some people might ask, like, pregnancy, like, when you're pregnant. I actually went 5 months, 5 months without a seizure. It was crazy. My last 5 months pregnant, it was like I was like, "What is going on?" Like, I'm like, I was happy about it, don't get me wrong, but then
Yeah.
it sucked. When you have that seizure, you're like, "Oh, no, 5 months? I thought I was done with this," but I wasn't.
What medications are you on? Yes.
Lamictal and Vimpat. Yeah, I was on Keppra. Um, Keppra was a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It makes you angry. It has so many side effects. Yeah, I won't say it does. It's not like it doesn't work. I think it did work, but it's just the side effects were too much for me. So, um, there's a little thing called Kep rage because it can make you very moody. And yeah, how many times I've been like that with Bella and people. I'm like, ugh. I turn into a total Karen, but like at home. I'm like, why did you look at me? I'm gonna write to your manager. I'm just kidding. But yeah. Um, yeah.
Sorry, I just read this comment and I started laughing. You turn your sound on because it says that it's seized in a cold storage. Is your sound on? It's making really bad feedback right now.
Is it bad? Can you hear me now? Is it bad still?
No, it was just bad when I could hear you. Like, okay, it's better. Okay. It
Okay,
says I
because I
seized in
like
a cold.
literally turned off the volume on one. My ear pods just went boop. So I don't
Okay.
know.
All right.
But I can still hear you
Um,
from one of them. I'll just shut the other one off.
okay. Can you mute your mic on one unless you're talking?
Let me see. I don't even know how to do that. Hold on. Let me see.
Otherwise, that'll be really bad. It should be like if you're
Do that.
there's like 3 dots on the top right. Okay. Yeah, that should be good. Maybe, hopefully. Okay. I don't know. Sorry, I lost what I was saying. So, no, that's fine. I don't want to make it like it'll have really bad feedback if we hear on that. Uh-huh. Yeah, you're good. Do you have an aura before you have seizures? I think we kind of touched on this a little bit. I'm reading the comments and it was funny. No, I'm not laughing at you. It's fine. My lips are always numb right now, so my nerves are yeah. 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 My face is all messed up, so my mouth's all numb right here. My nerves are all messed up, so yeah, most of it. What I can't, I hide with my beard, so it's all good. Yeah. So I have no warning at all, at least that I know of. I mean, I'll be doing whatever I'm doing, and then I will just wake up, and I have had a seizure, um, and I have zero warning. Um, Now, I have had experiences, which I'm not going to get into, at least for now, where I've done something and had a seizure and really change whatever I'm doing and say I mean, it seems like I've had an aura, but I don't know what that is though. I've also had times where I've been like something feels weird, something doesn't feel right, and then nothing happens. So I have no idea at all. Um, but um, let's see. There was a question. Lindsay said, "Do you either of you get ticks or shakes before you have one?" I don't. I just go like I'll just be doing whatever I'm doing, and then it's all like bomb. Oh, another thing. Nina said that she always puts her left hand up and she looks left. I'm the opposite. I have my right hand up, like I have a question, and I always look to the right. It's kind of funny because there's a funny story with that because I don't remember where I was, but I was with my brothers once, and I did that, and it, like literally, like my right hand always goes up, and I'll look to the right, and they were like, what are you looking at?" And then all of a sudden they realized, oh, he's having a seizure. Um, and by that time it was like he's down on the ground. Um, but yeah, it was just kind of funny because they're like everybody's looking to see what I'm pointing at, but then 2 seconds. And if you go watch my video, you can see like the one where I'm like laying in the bed like that. You can see like straight on, like my hand goes up like that, and I turn my head, and then like half a second later, I'm full blown in a seizure. So, that's I feel like I'm in an indoor swimming pool and get different sound in my right ear. Uh, Once I knew I was going to have one and called my mom and couldn't make sense of sentences. Um, I don't know, the epileptic shift. Did you hear what Nina had said about earlier about singing? I don't know if you hopped out or something for a second. So, I mean, Nina, you can go ahead and go back over that really quick about singing. Um, Someone said, has anyone had brain fog? I'm not sure what you mean by that. My brain is always pretty foggy, but that's besides the point. So, I'm not sure 100% what you mean by brain fog. So, you're frozen on YouTube. I don't know if you changed something. Oh, there it goes. You're good. You're good. Oh, let's see. Uh, uh, uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. They would love the. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions before we hop off? We're at an hour. It has been an hour already. So, okay, there's a question in this box. Hang on, it was in the box. I'm here. Being an epileptic isn't so bad when I don't want to smile. Hey, hey, that's a good one. It says being an epileptic isn't so bad. Well, I don't want to injure my wife. I just out blank state. So yeah. Just use that to your advantage there. Yeah, go for it. Um, so just kind of tack on to what Nina was saying. Um, if you guys need any more information about epilepsy, my name is Bigfrohead on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or X. Anywhere that you see the name Bigfrohead, that's me. Um, so if you guys go on to www.bigfrohead.com, you can go on there and you can grab like a seizure response guide. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just so you guys have that and you can take that so that you know what to do anytime something happens. It's just something. It's quick and easy. Just simple steps that you can run through. Um, in case something happens. So grab that. That's yours, free, no charge, nothing. Um, so if you guys have any questions or anything, please feel free to message Nina or I. And we do plan to do more of these lives like this so that we can talk about more things. We're gonna talk more like in upcoming ones about like how epilepsy affects like relationships, and then we've also talked about like how we can incorporate our kids. Those are my kids, not ours. But those are my kids. Those are two of my kids. Um, and so we've talked about how we can incorporate our kids into this and have them talk about how it is to have a parent that has epilepsy. And so I think we have some really good things that are coming up that you guys are really gonna like. So definitely, if you guys have questions, message one of us. Ask those questions. Go grab a seizure response guide and just get yourself educated. Watch. I have got tons of videos on my channels that can just get you guys some more info as well. So if you guys have any more questions right now before we hop off, go ahead and put them on here. So other than that, we will see you guys next time, and we'll definitely let you guys know a whole bunch ahead of time before as well, like we did this time. So love you guys, and we will see you next time. We're working on it. We're working on it. So all right, we'll see you guys next time.